Race 2 of the 2010 season takes the CRL Modified Division to Phoenix for the first time for the inaugural running of the Arizona Office of Tourism Desert Classic. 3 days ago, the series held its first ever pre-qualifying race, and these 4 drivers did not make it into the qualifying race, while a further 22 were sent home after said qualifying race, which contained 40 cars, and a lot of big names didn't qualify. Rallin Hayden, Kurt Shelton, another double D&Q for MT Motorsports car. Davidson didn't make it. Alex Neshmary, Larry Dimmick, Mike Falls. A lot of names in that list. Robert Klesel not making the big show, and one of the 12 cars that was already locked into this race got the Red Robin Pole Award. CJ Cameron sitting on pole for the very first time. He's already won 2 races in his CRL career. Here's the race start. That's Eric Laycross starting on the outside of row 1 with Cameron. Turn 4 Motorsports making their debut today, occupying the second row. That's Johnny Bellows in the 02 car, being pushed into second by Gordon Moss, who started in 5th spot, as Cameron heads into the dogleg with a nice sizable lead. He would lead the first lap, and that would be all for him. On the next lap, Moss, who's now moved up to second, looks down to the inside of Cameron going into 3 and makes the pass for the lead rather easily. So the English-born New Yorker, who won the qualifying race at Irwindale but didn't do much else after that, about to lead a lap in the series for the first time this year. On the lap he's just started, he scares himself a bit, drives too hard into turn 3, drifts up the racetrack, and going into 4, scrapes the wall. Fortunately for Moss, Cameron and Bellows don't catch up. Into lap 4, start of lap 5. Battle of the social network stars. Bellows in 3rd on the MySpace car is about to be passed for 3rd for said position by Pierre Duval, making his debut today in the Facebook car. A bit of irony. Hope those two don't wreck each other anytime this year. On the same lap, Duval going to the inside of Cameron for 2nd. There's Reed Weber in the 3 car, who's just gotten past Bellows for 4th, and he's going to help push Duval into 2nd as they hit the front straightaway. So Reed Weber, after a rather poor race at Irwindale, looking to improve on his 2010 season, and Duval completing the pass for 2nd going into turn number 2. Same lap, they head into the dogleg, got a different angle of this, and there's Weber peeking to the inside of Duval as they head into turn number 3. You see Bellows looking to the inside of Cameron again, and the Australian will make the pass on the Haitian driver as they come out of turn 4, and that of course has Weber setting his sights on Moss. And lap 9, Moss has ill effects from his earlier wall scrape because the right rear has gone flat, and Moss slows down. He will pit. His hopes of getting his first CRL Modified Division victory are dashed. Now, while all this has been going on, we're 9 laps in. That's Salvatore Provenzano in the 58 car. He won the qualifying race in dominant fashion 2 days ago. He started last, and he's now up to 3rd. He's up to 3rd 9 laps in as he's just gotten around CJ Cameron. You see Tina Lee, who won last week at Irwindale, getting around the pole sitter as well. But Provenzano, who had a rather poor showing in Irwindale, up to 3rd after starting last, only 9 laps in. That car's a rocket. Meanwhile, his Scuderia Fama teammate, Fabrizio Dallastella, who finished 2nd at Irwindale last week, is in last after starting 28th, trailing Mike Lee in the 15 and Ron Mertz in the 81, who are making their 2010 debuts today. Back to Provenzano, and on the start of lap 12, he's going to look down to the inside of Pierre Duval for 2nd down the front straightaway, and he will complete the pass going into turn 1. So the Italian sets his sights on Reed Weber. Next, same lap, no, wait. I'm sorry, lap 13, Provenzano peeking down to the inside of Weber going into 3. Looks to have made the pass, but Weber is going to hold him off as they come off of turn 4. You only live once, I guess. Weber won't be as lucky on the next lap, as Provenzano going into the dogleg will pass Weber rather easily going into turn 3. You see Tina Lee passing Duval for 3rd as they go into turn 3. So Lee with a bit of a rocket herself today. And here's Provenzano coming off of turn 4 to lead a lap of the CRL Modified Division for the very first time. Now that everything's settled down, let's talk a bit more about Mr. Johnny Bellows. He is now in 6th after starting 3rd. He is 33 years old. He's from Hickory, North Carolina, and it says he is a first-year driver. I don't know if it's his first year in motorsport or if it's his first year in the CRL modified division. But if it's his first year in motorsport, then this is his very first race, and he's having a good showing, starting 3rd and hanging on to 6th. Meanwhile, his Turn 4 Motorsports teammate is a name you've heard in the CRL modified division. This is Chuck Bloomers. Unfortunately, he's drifted back to 23rd after starting 4th. Bloomers, of course, made his debut at the 2009 season finale in that yellow 01 car you see in the background. He started in 2nd spot and finished 8th. He actually challenged Reed Weber for the lead very early on in that race, and he was kind of looking like he might pick up and win for a while. Johnny with a nice run. Not so nice run here. Here's defending series champ Alan Musico. He started 8th, but he's back in 18th. Suffice to say, defending series champ not having a great start to the 2010 season. This race featuring the return of the sweet Axel Andersson in that 97 car, joined the TM Junior Series and was confused about his eligibility. Thought he could not run the series anymore, but full-time TM Master Cup Series drivers cannot run the CRL modified division. Andersson started 16th in 15th, but he's about to be dropped back to his starting position, getting passed by Chris Winter. Of course, Andersson won twice in 2009 at Watkins Glen and Mosport. Now, one lap after getting past Andersson, Winter goes round the dogleg into turn 3, and the camshaft breaks, and that's the end of Chris's day. He would be our only retiree. Meanwhile, up ahead, Shane Spain in that 9 car in 12th has a flat left rear coming out of turn 4 and pulls off the racing line. The 38-year-old making his debut today for Team J-Rod, which makes him a teammate of Sean Percy. Spain is a former Blitz Racing League champ. He got into this race by passing John Haltz for 18th, the final transfer spot on the final lap of the qualifying race. So Spain just got in, and he looked good to score some points, but obviously not anymore. Here's David Sprague in the 31 car, passing his teammate pole sitter Cameron for 8th. Sprague started this race in 15th, so he's moved up into the points. Sprague is 50 years old, 50, and he's making his CRL modified division debut today. And what an impression he's making. He's from Stockton, California, and he is a 4-time super late model champ at Irwindale Speedway. And if he can have a good run like this, I'd love to see what he can do for the rest of the season. Brandon Malloy finished 4th in his debut at Irwindale, and here he is in 5th with Jay Jenner in the 94 hot on his heels. Malloy started in 25th, so he's moved up through the field pretty well. This is his last race in the Olympic paint scheme. The 4-car will return to its NBC paint scheme, or at least a modification of it, for the next race at New Hampshire. Let's check in on the guy who started 2nd. This is Eric Lacrosse making his debut today for NIT Racing. He's in 13th, 1 spot out of the points. He's 23 years old, and he's from Daytona Beach, and he raced in the RROL, and he is looking to latch on to a new team, signing with NIT Racing. And his debut started out good. It's still kind of good, but let's just say it could be better. Let's meet Pierre Duval. He is 22 years old, and he is from Haiti. He took the 1 car from Felipe Lumpeda. Of course, Montana Mosejas drove this car last season. Felipe Lumpeda was supposed to drive this car in 2010. Lumpeda drove 2 races in relief for Mosejas while Mosejas dealt with the death of his father. Finished 2nd in Edmonton, but Lumpeda was arrested for fraud, and so they brought up Duval, and he's having a great debut so far as he's still in 4th place. Here's Randy Robinson. He started 18th. He's down to 23rd, and he's a lap down. And Robinson's usually not an emotional guy, but he was very frustrated with his effort at Irwindale, frustrated with the oil line getting punctured while coming in to make the pit stop after the first caution, frustrated with himself after he spun out Alan Musico to bring out the 2nd yellow, and he's not going to be any happier here. And here is Montana Mosejas making his 2010 debut, first race in the 01 car, deep in the pack after starting 27th. Of course, Moises is now 55. He took part in his first year of motorsport last year, led his first lap at Watkins Glen, got his first win at Martinsville in round 15, becoming the series' oldest winner ever at 54, and he was named the most popular driver. And a whole lot of fans are very glad to see Montana back in the series. Lap 35, battle for second. Reed Webber's been caught up in lap traffic for some time, and Tina Lee looks down to the inside, and she will pass the Australian as they head into turn 1. So Lee looking to back up her win from Irwindale with a top 2 finish. Meanwhile, here's Provenzano on lap, I believe that reads 39 or start of lap 40, lapping Jacob Eichholz, who's now in 12th, so he's beginning to pick off the guys in the points positions. And here is Provenzano a couple of laps later, passing our pole sitter, Mr. Cameron, who is now in 11th spot. And you see Eichholz kind of sitting his eyes on the back of that 13 car. And Provenzano's final act, a couple of laps after lapping Cameron, lapping the 10th place car of Holden Roberts. You see the 81 of Ron Mertz, but Mertz is multiple laps down. And here we are at the finish. Salvatore Provenzano leading the final 34 laps. He'll win the inaugural Arizona Office of Tourism Desert Classic, picking up his and Scuderia Fama's first ever CRL Modified Division victory. What a dominant weekend for Provenzano. He wins the main race after dominating the Q race. And here is Lee coming off turn 4. She'll hold off Reed Webber for second. And now to Jacob Eichholz in 12th. They come off turn 4. He has one final peek to the inside of Cameron, but it's not enough. Eichholz, though, finishes 12th. It's his first ever CRL Modified Division point. That's a first he certainly won't forget, but this is definitely a first that Salvatore Provenzano will not forget himself doing the burnouts. Should note, this race went caution-free in 85 laps of racing this week, 16 in pre-qualifying, 32 in the qualifying race, and 47 today. There was only one caution all weekend, and it came out in the qualifying race. Provenzano, of course, picking up a bonus point for leading the most laps. And he also picks up another award, as you will see here in just a few seconds. Provenzano grabbing hold of the FedEx Fastest Lap Award, a $10,000 bonus for a lap of 35.132. The second fastest lap of the race, Tina Lee with a 35.74. Let's take a look at the top 12 in race results. Provenzano the dominant victory. Tina Lee coming home in second. Webber third. David Sprague got around Pierre Duval late, so Sprague finishes fourth in his debut. Great debuts for he and Duval. Coming home in sixth spot is Brandon Malloy, so another good race for him. Jay Jannerin picking up points for the first time this year. Great to recover after the heartbreak of Irwindale. Johnny Bellows holds on for eighth in his debut. Brendan Rohde scoring points for the first time this season at ninth. Holden Roberts finishing 10th, first car one lap down. CJ Cameron gets a bonus point for winning pole in addition to the 2 points he picks up for finishing 11th. Then Jacob Eichholz comes home in 12th, one lap down. Now on to the top 15 in points. Tina Lee now with a total of 37 on the year. Provenzano moves up to second with his victory today. Brendan Malloy sitting third. Fabrizio Dalla Stella, despite not scoring, sits in fourth after his second place at Irwindale. Robert Klesel, despite not qualifying, is fifth. Reed Webber in sixth. David Sprague in seventh. Pierre Duval sitting in eighth. Larry Dimmick still in the top 15 despite not qualifying himself. Garth Davidson also didn't qualify. He is in 10th. Holden Roberts sitting in 11th. C.J. Long in 12th. Jay Jannerin in 13th. Johnny Bellows in 14th. And Jen Walker in 15th. Now the series heads across the country and northeast to its oldest oval race on the calendar, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, for the Life Takes Visa Loudon Shootout.